As part of its commitment to the advocacy for efficient service delivery at the Nigerian seaports and terminals, the Convention on Business Integrity, in collaboration with the Maritime Anti-Corruption Network, through the Business Action Against Corruption, took the conversation to Port Harcourt, Rivers State. The Maritime Roundtable brought together stakeholders at the eastern port axis of the nation. Mr. Soji Ampampa, CEO of CBI, and Mr. Vivek Menon, Head Collective Action, MACN, gave their remarks on the essence of the forum.
On behalf of DANIDA, which is the Danish International Development Agency, that is also providing support for the stakeholder engagements, we welcome you to this event. We know that the port sector has been seriously challenged in Nigeria. It's not just ports, it's the ports and terminals, and even some of the floating production centers that are way deep offshore. We know that there have been complaints, there have been challenges around getting effective and efficient service delivery through these ports, and usually it's for different reasons. For example, in Lagos, we know that the physical infrastructure around the ports themselves, for example, the roads, absence of railways, and so on, makes life even more difficult for everyone who wants to improve efficiency at the ports. But we've also been looking at the human factor, the impact of corruption on the inefficiencies that we face at the ports, both for vessel clearance and cargo clearance. And we're hoping that today we will be able to discuss these issues in a very constructive manner. What we're hoping to leave here with at the end of the day is an idea of what the solution looks like and how to make sure that the solution keeps working for more Nigerians and more users of the ports and terminals, including international callers at those ports and terminals.
So today, the Maritime Anti-Corruption represents 125 global members. That represents almost 30% of global tonnage, around 80% of the container tonnage, and it comprises of around 8,000 ships or vessels. They are a composition of ship owners, cargo owners, vessel managers, including cargo owners and other service providers like port agents. They're part of the membership. Over the years, MACN, or the Maritime Anti-Corruption Network, has developed and shared various practical tools and best practices on anti-corruption to the maritime industry. We have also implemented various collective action initiatives in various countries, including Nigeria. Specifically in Nigeria, we have been working hard in implementing the standard operating procedures and the grievance reporting mechanism through the Port Service Support Portal, PSSP in short, that was developed by the Nigerian government. It is our objective with such events to launch a series of interventions aimed at promoting transparency and consistency in the application of these standard operating procedures, thereby leading to a more predictable, in time and cost, vessel and cargo clearance at Nigerian ports and terminals. It also gives stakeholders such as yourselves at this event an opportunity to be a part of this collective action to improve the effectiveness and efficiency of Nigerian ports and terminals. We believe through collective action we can create a safer, simpler, and efficient operating environment which benefits everyone and most importantly is respected by everyone.
From the CBI Port User Survey, Mr. Babatunde Oluwajo gave some interesting statistics to stakeholders.
With regards to our seaports, in terms of transparency, consistency, and predictability, for Borutu, Calabar, Lagos Port Complex, the One Port, the Port Harcourt Port Complex, the Tinkan Island Port and Warri, they all scored between 21% to 40% in terms of their transparency, their consistency and predictability in terms of their operations. That was the response of ship captains who call our Nigerian ports. In terms of the terminals, the responses were a bit different. We have a number of them, especially the Korodu Lighter Terminal and Kirikiri, as well as Sapele Terminal, scoring between 61% and 80% in terms of the transparency of the operation, the consistency and predictability. Others didn't do so well. We have a Bonny Terminal scoring just about 21% in terms of the ratings of vessel captains. With regards to the transparency of SOPs, the standard operating procedure at Nigerian ports, the ship captains said that Lagos Port Complex and Apapa, they were rated highest in terms of transparency with about 33.33%, followed by Port Harcourt Port with 26.7%, while all the other ports in Nigeria, seaports, got about 20% ratings from the ship captains who responded to the survey. In terms of the consistency of application of SOPs at the sea terminals, thus the Lagos ports and Apapa got a consistency rating of about 30%, while the other seaports just got about average of 20% each. In terms of predictability of clearance timelines and charges at the port, Bulutu and Tinkan Island ports got the highest predictability rating of 40%, followed by the Lagos Port Complex with a score of 33.3%. In terms of transparency of the standard operating procedures at the sea terminals, the response of the ship captains is that on the average, sea terminals scored about 60% in terms of the transparency, that if you are calling at those seaports as ship captains in terms of the operations, you can score them about 60%. In terms of the consistency in the application of the standard operating procedures at the sea terminals, Kirikiri Terminal and Sapele Terminal were rated highest at about 80% by the ship captains who call at those sea terminals. With regards to the predictability of clearance in terms of timelines and charges at the sea terminals, a good number of the terminals were rated 60% as in terms of predictability of clearance timelines and charges at this sea terminal. So in brief, this is a summary of the findings from the survey that was conducted by those who use the services of in Nigerian ports, both from local users as well as international users represented by the ship captains who call on Nigerian ports. Thank you very much.
The event featured the panel session, which provided an opportunity for the regulators and private sector players to discuss the impact of the Port Service Support Portal, which is part of the standing operating procedures entrenched in the maritime sector. There were also contributions from private sector players on how the eastern ports can become more efficient in the area of service delivery.
Every other country, you can sit and know from the word go before you make an import what it's going to cost you. That is only in this country that you can import something for 10 times, you have different costs, 10 different costs.
Yes.
Now, we are making progress, no doubt. But I think that the progress is very slow. And that's why I still go back on that other issue of how was the SOP formulated. When we did something on the Presidential Committee, we also talk about what is the reasonable pricing for whatever service you are rendering, even as a private person. It can be agreed. Oh, you don't charge above this, or you don't charge below this. And let it be known that you are getting something for your service. Now, if in the process, you now decide to now go do something else to get more, now something will be, but if it's an open-ended thing, well, by my own experience, it's like port reform has started since in the 80s, and that is like 30-something years ago, close to 40 years now, and we're still reforming. Can't we stop somewhere? Thank you very much.
Mr. Soji Apapa, Mr. Vivek Menon, and Mr. Moses Fadipe, the coordinator of the PASP, speak on the key takeaways from the Port Harcourt Maritime Roundtable.
There seems to be lack of awareness, which we want to improve, lack of usage, which we want to improve, which will basically mean that the transparency that is shown by the government in terms of the standard operating procedures will have consistency of usage. And that's the key that I think also I've got from this conference that we have in Port Harcourt, that many of them have various challenges, but they don't seem to have a portal to address these. There seems to be their own portals in different agencies. As we heard today, that why can't we not have one place where each agency can see what's going on with other agencies? So this could potentially be a platform where we can see the change coming at a faster pace, hopefully. There is change happening in Nigeria that we would like to recognize, but if we want to speed up that process, this could be a placeholder to help that process.
The taste of the pudding in its eating. Nigerians, we should start to learn how to believe. You don't have belief or trust in something, how do you get the benefits and the gains? PSSP is a micro-modern technology to addressing business-to-business interest in a particular space. This one, maritime environment. Now, the beauty of it is that that system enables you to be able to submit and track your complaints in an on-time real manner. That is one. Two, that system is capable of aggregating all complaints within a specified period of time, such that you'll be able to know which agency has the highest infraction. Then you start to ask questions. And which agency has the least infraction, probably in terms of service delivery. Then you'll be saying, oh, how best are they doing it that they have least infraction that company B is not doing that have the highest infraction. And again, when everybody know that a red flag will be raised against their action, it keeps you naturally in check. And when you are doing the right thing, you will never think about a backlash. That's the honest truth. So my appeal for people in the Eastern Port is to embrace and engage that PSSP for their benefit, and they'll definitely see, the benefits there. Out of the over 400 plus, if you are to put into statistics, I don't think the Eastern Port has up to 10%. So if they don't have up to 10% and there are problems here every day, then why are not they embracing it? So for us to now come down here and to say embrace it, then they should test us.
Some of the ways in which things are run at the ports seem not to have been captured in the standard operating procedures. Some of the aspirations of the port users in terms of service level agreements, time that it takes, the cost of operations, and so on, the private sector would like these things reviewed, discussed, and they would like a level of engagement with the government in this area. These are some of the things that we're taking away. We're also seeing that there is an inbuilt resistance to anything government because people are jaded. They are tired already. In fact, someone said port reforms, it's been going on since the 80s. We're talking 30-something years. So even this effort that started a few years ago is being seen in the light of something that has started since the 80s. And our final word to the participants is that if you haven't tried it, don't knock it. Because those who have tried it, the Port Service Support Portal, pssp.ng, have been able to get redress to their issues. Therefore, if you haven't tried it, don't knock it. Try it first. And if it doesn't work, then we will join you in shouting it from the rooftops that the government is unserious. But this particular initiative did not start from the government. It started from the private sector. The Maritime Anti-Corruption Network has been engaging the Nigerian government since 2012, requesting redress in certain areas. And they're happy to report that the government has been responding, and not just this administration, even previous administrations. They've been responding and they have made the changes necessary. It's now time to get people to use it en masse, and for us to prove that Nigeria can shake this image of being one of the most corrupt countries in the world.
With the wrap-up of the Maritime Roundtable conversation across Nigeria, it is expected that the CBI and MACN will come up with a robust document from the Port Service Committee, with solutions on how the nation can achieve a more robust service delivery approach at the ports and terminals.